Hi, I'm Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation, and today's topic is very important. Consider saving your marriage instead of divorce. Hi, welcome back. I'm Paul Friedman, and I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. I'm here to ask you to consider saving your marriage instead of divorce. Now, I used to be a divorce mediator. In 2001, long time ago, I used to help people decide where the kids went, where the assets were distributed. And then a couple asked me to help them save their marriage instead. They said, look, you're an expert in communication. And in those days, everyone believed that communication was at the core of all marriage difficulties. And it is one of the few things at the core of all marriage difficulties. And I agreed to help them. And I asked them for a few months to learn about marriage because I didn't want to approach it like a Western psychologist, because I'm not a Western psychologist and I don't believe in pretending to be one. And what I discovered was incredible. And in fact, after 8 years, I started training those same people who used to send me my business because I created a scientific model for marriage. Which I know that sounds crazy. That how could there be a scientific model for marriage? Everyone believes that every marriage is unique. All the problems are different, and everyone has to work through them differently. But what I discovered is that it isn't the problem. What you're going through with your spouse is not the problem. The problem is the equivalent of I give you the keys to a Maserati and you have no idea of what it does, so you take it off-road. And it doesn't last very long, does it? A marriage is a scientific entity. It has a structure. And the moving parts are not mechanical parts like a machine, but mechanical parts like a living entity, like a tree, you might say, or an ocean. And the marriage is designed to be an ocean of happiness and of love. But if you don't know that going in, and you don't drive your marriage correctly, it's impossible for you to experience the benefits that marriage is designed to produce. Let me repeat that in a different way. You know what your car is supposed to do, so you confidently get into it, turn the key, if you have a key still, step on the accelerator, and off you go. You know exactly what it's meant to do. It's going to take you from point A to point B, and you'll turn on the radio and you'll enjoy your drive. But if you didn't know all that and you got into a car, you'd be sitting there and going, wow, this is kind of comfy. I wonder what all these buttons are for. But in your marriage, your teacher were sitcoms, movies, magazine articles, YouTube videos. And so you don't understand marriage. Believe me, you don't. And so you got into your marriage and off you go as if it's a ride at Disneyland. And you've been bumping into each other the whole time. You know, we at the Marriage Foundation also have courses. We have this great online course for those of you who are at the end of your rope. One for men and one for women. It's a 12-week course that will get you right back on track. Also have a couple of books. But we also have a course for newlyweds. So I thought, okay, let's go to one of these wedding events where people are planning their wedding and, you know, there's caterers there and people who rent tuxedos and all of that. And so we set up a booth and we were giving away free courses. No one wanted one. Do you know why? Because everyone's afraid that they might learn something that they don't want to know. Because they're so scared of getting married because they don't understand marriage. And so I went around and talked to the other vendors and I told them what we were doing. And I asked the question, when do people start fighting? And everyone, all of the vendors said, well, there's very few who aren't fighting already by the time they come to us. And I thought, that's fascinating. But they get married anyway. Why did you get married anyway? Because intuitively you knew this was the right one for you. This is your soulmate. But again, you never learned how. You didn't learn how. Now, yes, it's too late to learn how using one of our books because it's like being stuck in the mud. You can't even move. And you're so sensitive to everything right now. You couldn't handle any criticism. You couldn't handle even direction. Well, you should try this, you should try that. And in our course, we don't even say you should try this, you should try that. Instead, what I do is I take the time to explain it all to you. In the course, we begin with anatomy of a fight. Fascinating, right? Who would ever consider that? Anatomy of a fight. Because what I'm able to do using that as a vehicle is show you, show you them, show you where all the trigger points are without calling anyone out on it. And you're able to resuscitate your marriage. So what I'm saying to you now is, I know. We've been doing this for over a quarter of a century, over 25 years, saving thousands of marriages. So when I tell you I know, I'm not blowing smoke. So I'm asking you, please consider saving your marriage. And don't do it the wrong way. Use our methods. Use our instruction because it works. And I know that it works. And you might say, maybe I should give it one more shot. No, don't give it one more shot. Give it the right shot. Do it the right way. Because I don't want you to bang your head again against immovable walls. Case in point. Very personal. I was divorced when I was a divorce mediator, and I believed in divorce. Before we got a divorce, because I had plenty of money, I was a businessman in San Diego County. And my wife and I, at least 10 or 15 marriage counselors. And the last one said to us, okay, I've got some homework for you. Sound familiar? I've got some homework for you. I want you to go home and I want you to tell each other, take turns, what's wrong. And I thought, okay, that's a good idea. I'll tell her what's wrong. She'll change. So stupid. And she probably thought the same thing. So I said, okay, who goes first? And she said, you go first. I said, well, I think you should go first. And couldn't even agree on that. Finally, I went first. I got down to number 3. She stood up, walked out of the room. That was it. That was the end of our marriage. So I don't have a lot of faith in marriage counselor techniques, which don't even come close to the techniques that I have, which are calming techniques, healing techniques, communication techniques, everything you could ever imagine. So please consider saving your marriage. And most importantly is you have no idea how rugged divorce is, what it does to your children, what it does to you as individuals. I mean, if you think about it, if you get a divorce, you're failing at the number one important thing you've ever done in your life. It is. It's the most important. And you're failing. Talk about psychology. What does that set up in your subconscious mind? You become afraid to do anything after that. So that's just one peril of divorce, but there's an endless list. So please heed my plea. Save your marriage. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. We're here to serve you. We're here to save your marriage. Leave a comment, leave a like, share this message with others. God bless you and take care. Thank you.